Let's talk about the other game last night that took place in the Eastern Conference as the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Brooklyn Nets 127-104. For the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant had 32 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. The Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis led the way, as always, 32 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists. So my biggest takeaway from this game is normally the team who receives their championship rings and they have the ring ceremony, normally that team comes out flat. And normally the team who won a championship the year before, they normally don't get into a rhythm until maybe like late in the third quarter or early in the fourth quarter. But sometimes the opposing team by that time already has a significant lead and they normally pull out the victory. But in this particular matchup between the Bucks and the Nets, it was the exact opposite. The Brooklyn Nets are the team that came out flat. They were lifeless for whatever reason. Kevin Durant, in the first half, he didn't really play very well. He had 21 points in the second half, but in the first half, Kevin Durant only had 11 points. He just wasn't really himself in the first half. And the Milwaukee Bucks, they came out and they brought the energy. They, had all of the, everyone in the crowd on their side in this game, obviously playing in Milwaukee. And so they came out with the necessary energy that you need following a championship that you won the previous year. So I was very impressed with the Milwaukee Bucks. Mike Budenholzer, to his credit, he had his team ready to play in game one, ring night in Milwaukee, to his credit. And also, another takeaway for me was the Greek Freak. Giannis, he showed that he isn't satisfied after winning his first NBA championship and winning his first finals MVP. This is Giannis fresh off a playoff run where the man averaged 30 points per game, 13 rebounds per game, and 5 assists per game on 56% shooting. 56% shooting. That was Giannis last year during the postseason run for the Milwaukee Bucks. He's not satisfied. He's trying to win another championship for the city of Milwaukee and the Bucks organization. And I was very impressed with Giannis last night. 32 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, showed why he is one of the best players in the NBA, top 5 in my opinion. I'm going to talk about my top 5 players in the NBA here in a bit, but Giannis was very dominant in this game. It was quiet, though. It was quiet because they had a lot of other key contributors in this game. I mean, Connaughton had 20 points. Kris Middleton had 20 points. Jrue Holiday, even though it was only in 17 minutes, he had 12 points. Grayson Allen, 10 points. They are a balanced team, and they are very deep. They are very deep on this team. They're very, very deep. But I thought another key in this game, too, was the Milwaukee Bucks. They had 7 turnovers for the game. The Brooklyn Nets, they scored 2 points. The Brooklyn Nets, they had 12 turnovers, and the Bucks scored 22 points off their 12 turnovers. So that was one of the keys in the game as well. Whenever the Nets turned the ball over, the Bucks capitalized by scoring 22 points in this game. Also, the Bucks killed the Nets on the glass. The Bucks out-rebounded the Nets 54-44 in this game. That was how the Bucks were able to win the championship last season, going up against the Phoenix Suns. The Bucks dominated the Suns on the glass. They did the exact same thing to the Nets. The Bucks, they have more continuity right now than the Brooklyn Nets. Battle-tested. They won an NBA championship last season. They've had their playoff shortcomings and their playoff failures. And the Brooklyn Nets, on the other hand, they look like a team that's trying to figure out how to play together. That's how they look. They look like a team that's still trying to figure out how to play together. I mean, last night, they didn't really shoot the ball particularly bad. Like Kevin Durant, Joe Harris, Patty Mills, and James Harden, they all combined to go 17 of 27 from three-point range. That's very impressive. And for the game, the Brooklyn Nets, from three-point range, they shot 53% from three-point range. Normally, when you shoot 53% from three-point range, normally you win those type of basketball games. But because they got dominated on the glass the way they did, in a game where the Milwaukee Bucks didn't even have Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis didn't even play in this game. By the way, Bobby Portis is my cousin. We actually family. But Bobby Portis didn't even play in this game, and the Milwaukee Bucks was able to dominate the Brooklyn Nets on the glass. So it was a very impressive win for the Milwaukee Bucks. You know, they're trying to get out to a good start this season and trying to go back-to-back as NBA champions. But I think the Brooklyn Nets still are the better team. They weren't the better team last night, but I think in the grand scheme of things, the Brooklyn Nets are still better than the Milwaukee Bucks. Don't forget, last year in the playoffs, before Kyrie Irving got injured, the Brooklyn Nets were beating the Milwaukee Bucks by 50 at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. So I ain't forgot about it. I know Kevin Durant, James Harden, and the Brooklyn Nets haven't forgot about it. So this was just one of 82. We got a long season to go, long way to go. But it was a nice start for the Milwaukee Bucks. And again, I think the Brooklyn Nets, in order for them to be successful, they have to rebound better. They have to rebound better. And, you know, I still think they're a better team than the Milwaukee Bucks. And if Kyrie Irving comes back, I really think it's going to be over. I really think the Brooklyn Nets are by far the favorites in the Eastern Conference. They are really favorites in the Eastern Conference. But I still think the Brooklyn Nets, even without Kyrie Irving, with just Kevin Durant and James Harden, I think they should be the favorites in the East. I really do. Again, everybody's going to be prisoners of the moment and talk about, oh, the Bucks are better than the Nets. They dominated them in the first matchup. First game of the season. First game of the season. And again, Kevin Durant didn't really get it going until the second half. He had 21 points in the second half. First half, he was like, you know, trying to get into a rhythm. He missed 3 free throws. That's, you know, uncharacteristic of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant normally is reliable at the free throw line, but he missed 3 free throws in this game. So, like I said, biggest takeaway was I think the Bucks got continuity right now, and the Nets, they still trying to figure some things out. I was kind of surprised that Steve Nash, with a little over 4 minutes left to go in the game, he pulled the starters. They were down by like 12 or 14, it might have been 12 or 14 points at the time. And Kevin Durant was getting into a rhythm. He started hitting some shots. He started getting hot. And I was shocked that Steve Nash pulled the starters and pretty much waved the red flag and said, hey, we're not going to win this game. Let's go ahead and get prepared for the Philadelphia 76ers Friday night. I was surprised by that because you're down 14. You got Kevin Durant, the greatest scorer in NBA history. You got James Harden, one of the greatest shooting guards in NBA history as well. And then we in the league right now where the three-point shot is popular the way that it is. You can come back from a 14-point deficit with over 4 minutes to go in a game. You can't come back from that deficit. The way the three-point shot is shot right now at a high level and a high clip. So I was surprised that Steve Nash waved the red flag as early as he did in this game.